Good afternoon, everyone. I'm the PGA of America's Julius Mason, and I'm very pleased to welcome you today to the 2018 United States Ryder Cup Captain's Pick News Conference. Joining me is the 2008 United States Ryder Cup captain, Jim Furyk. Jim, on August 12, 8 players qualified for a spot on the 2018 United States Ryder Cup team based on a point system. Today, you are naming 3 players that will join those automatic qualifications. And on September 10, you will select another player to complete your 12-member team. With that, are you ready to let us know who you've selected as your newest team members?
Yes, I am. Thanks, Julius, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to cut to the chase. The 3 members of the team are Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson, and Tiger Woods.
Collectively, Jim, can you tell us how these 3 players complement the 8 that you already have on the team?
Yeah, I think we talked about all year. We were looking for a number of different things, but players that had a good body of work, that had played good this season, players that were in good form, and we're headed over to Europe. We're heading over into foreign soil. It's going to be an interesting crowd. They're boisterous. I have a lot of respect for them, and we're looking for players that we thought would handle that situation well and that would thrive, would love the challenge ahead of them. And I think in naming these 3 players, that's what we've done.
It's hard not to notice that you named one of your vice captains as a captain's pick today. Can you bring us up to speed on who your vice captains are and will be?
Yeah, I see others are smiling as well. Tiger and I have had this conversation. I've been asked about it all year. And what Tiger and I have decided is he will play in this Ryder Cup, and we will name another vice captain. And he has been instrumental in helping not only the captains before me, but me as well, as far as strategy, as far as planning, as far as pairings. And I'm going to continue to use that knowledge and that strategy. But I also want to make sure, Tiger gets very focused on that, and I want to free him up. I want to allow him to be able to practice, to prepare, and work with his partner or partners in that preparation. So when he needs to step out, that gives him a little bit of freedom, and it gives me another set of eyes over there. So collectively, really, his role won't change much, but he will be considered a player instead of a vice captain. So with that, I'm going to name 3 vice captains today, and David Duval, Zach Johnson, and Matt Kuchar.
Very good, Captain. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and get straight to it and invite Bryson DeChambeau to the stage right now. So before we hear from Bryson quickly, Jim, you had to be impressed with what you've seen out of Bryson the last couple of weeks.
Unbelievable. I think
have a 4 to 6 week break after the PGA Championship, and a lot of times guys would take some time off and would head into the Ryder Cup not as sharp competitively as we would like. And so the FedEx Cup has been a huge thing for us to compete and play at the highest level. So I think going right into the Ryder Cup has been a very good thing for our side.
Question on mic number 1, Doug?
I just wanted to double back to Bryson just before we lose you here one more time, but with all the emphasis on ping pong at the Ryder Cup, are you bringing the robot?
I will definitely have my paddle. I will say that. The robot, we'll see if it's allowed on the plane. I don't know.
you have some game?
A little bit.
All right.
I played Kuchar, when was this? This was before the Walker Cup. We actually had a Walker Cup practice session and played Kuchar 2 games, and I was able to win the first and he was able to win the second, and we left it at that. So we got to finish that last game.
Rubber match.
Never know.
Bryson, Phil, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and welcome Tiger Woods to the stage right now, please. So, Captain, it's been a little while since we have seen Tiger play on a Ryder Cup, and I know you have spent some quality time with him over the years discussing the Ryder Cup. How excited are you, really, to have him on the team right now?
I think we're all excited. I think Tiger and I spent time as partners. We spent a lot of time as vice captains talking strategy, talking pairings very often, and I can attest to the amount of texts that Davis Love has received. I think I'm maybe not quite as many, but I'm darn close. But it's been great to have his help and to get like a little feel of one of the best minds in the history of the game on your side helping you out. It's been great to have. But I have to say we're all excited to see him healthy, kind of backed up against the wall, play so well at the Open Championship, to play so well at the PGA. Phil is correct. We all kind of become fans as well, and it's a feather in our cap to have him playing on our side.
Thanks, Jim. Tiger, we've seen you as a Ryder Cup player. We've observed you as a Ryder Cup vice captain. In both instances, it's very clear that you about this event. Why the drive? Why the desire to be a part of the Ryder Cup?
Well, when I first made my first team at Valderrama, it was quite an honor, and more than anything, it was a great learning experience to see the passion that one of our late great team leaders and he made me understand how important the Ryder Cup is. And from that moment on, I always wanted to be a part of each and every team. Haven't been part of the team playing wise for 6 years, and served as a vice captain a couple of years ago, and that was absolutely incredible to be part of the team, be part of these young guys, and just to try and help them spikes or sandwiches or water, whatever they needed. I was there, and this year to have the honor to be able to play again is beyond special.
Thank you. Questions, ladies and gentlemen? If you have a question, raise your hand and we'll get you a wireless mic. Over here in the back row on mic number 2, Alex.
Happen at this point. Can you assess from what was actually your vice captain position until just recently the strengths of what this team has?
Well, this team it's young, full of guys in their 20s, and we've got an unbelievable veteran leader in Phil, who's since before some of these guys were born. So it's a great mix of guys. But one of the things I learned a couple of years ago is a lot of these guys grew up playing junior golf together, and they really know each other really well. So they played junior golf, they played collegiate golf, some amateur stuff, and then came out on tour about this. Really grown up with one another, and it was pretty evident at how close this team was in 16, and again this year in 18.
Over here on mic number 1, Bob.
Tiger, over here.
Yeah, Bobby.
You might recall at Riviera this year, the subject came up. You do both. Could you be a vice captain and a player? And it was your tone was sort of joking at the time, but can you recall deep down what you really thought about your chances of being in this position now, way back then?
Well, at the beginning of the year, that was one of my goals was to make this team. I but also deep down, I wanted to make the team. I really wanted to play on it. Now, I hadn't started playing golf really yet, but still, I was a goal at the end of the season is to be able to make this team. And as the year progressed, I've kind of gained some traction, and it was some. And lo and behold, I'm a part of this team. It's incredible. I mean, it really is to look back at the start of the year and now to have accomplished a goal like that, to be a part of this team, and now to be a player. It's just, as I said, it's beyond special.
Over here, Bernie, on mic number 2, please.
Tiger, could you be brutally honest?
Probably for, I played well at the PGA, so it was, we're hinting at, sorry, the vice captains and the captain were hinting at picking him as a player. So as the vice captain, but yeah, so it's just one of those things where it evolved in the last couple of weeks.
On the back of your answer to that last question, you've played a lot of Ryder Cups. Can this be one of the most memorable Ryder Cups you would have played in, given what you've gone through these last few years?
Absolutely. It's to have an opportunity to go to Europe and to have a Ryder Cup, and we haven't done it in 25 years over there, and to be part of this group of guys, to have that opportunity to go there, it's exciting. It really is, and we're going to go over there and give our best and try and keep this cup.
Front row on mic number 2, please.
Yeah, Captain. Yeah. How did the composition?
I don't want to make any guesses for what Europe's going to do. I think some rumors came out today in the paper from what I heard right before we came to this press conference, but I don't really want to guess. I think I had an idea in my mind what Europe may do, but I was really more focused on what our strengths would be and how I could add and complement possible to the 8 that we started with. So although I think those matchups may be key in the future, I really was worried about our strengths more than anything else.
Thank you. In the back over here on mic number 1, please.
This is for either Tiger or Phil, whoever wants to take it, but there's been times over the years when you guys played together in 4, Tiger, when you and David played at Brookline, having 2 people of that level lose created even more momentum for the other side. I'm just curious if you look at the team now and what they've accomplished individually, does that even exist anymore? That feeling of taking down 2 scalps instead of 1 because of who you are.
Go ahead.
Thanks.
Rookie.
Well, I think it's always a momentum shift if you can take down their whoever the best pairings, and we've done it on their side, and they've done it to us. So it is a momentum shift more than anything else, and it's trying to beat the guys that we're paired up against, and we think that we put out the best possible players to win points, and sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
3 more questions, folks, please, on mic number 1.
To Tiger and to Phil, if called upon, would you be willing and able to play 36 holes? And Jim, would you be calling upon them possibly to do that in both the 4-ball and foursomes?
That'll be a conversation I'll have with every player, health-wise, how they're feeling. It's the end of the year. Obviously, we have a lot of young players and a lot of guys that are extremely fit that, someone has to play 36 just the way it works out. But, that's a conversation I'd have with Tiger and Phil, and I would say that 5 matches probably isn't in the equation like it used to be, but 4 would be possible, I would assume.
2 more questions over here, mic number 1, Ryan.
Tiger, Jim mentioned that he wants you to focus fully on playing, of course. But how much input do you expect to have with the X's and O's like you've had the past couple of years, and you've really been praised for your tactical?
I won't be able to have. I won't be spending the time that I did because I'm dedicated to playing. It's one of the great additions we've had is our 3 vice captains. They're and our captain are gonna basically be rolling through it and trying to decide who's the best fit to play with who and when we're going. I may have a little bit of input here and there, but it's certainly nowhere near the role that I had last time we did in Hazeltine, for sure.
Final question over here on mic number 2,
I
please.
could actually follow up on that a little bit as well to clear things up. I mean, Tiger is a huge asset, and in preparation and leading up, I will expect all of us as captains and vice captains to ask for the same opinions we've had. The move that we've made in this situation is a lot more for the week of and for his preparations during the week of, and make sure that he's able to practice and prepare like he needs to.
Mike number 2.
Yeah, this is for Jim. The process of making captain's picks can be very difficult at times, considering most of us in this room have already written that these 3 guys would probably be sitting up there. How difficult was the process for you?
Well, I will say that the 3 here on stage made it probably a little easier day than most for most captains. You know, I think we have a lot of good options on the team, and we still have options left that I'm excited about for next Monday. But Bryson separated himself from the field the last couple of weeks for sure, and you know, Tiger and Phil were you know, honestly, you got 9, 10, and 11 on the points list, guys that had a great body of work, guys that are in great form right now, and Bryson put an exclamation point on things. So not that it was an easy decision, but it could have been a lot more difficult.
Jim, it is just 19 days. You got another one?
Follow up?
That being said, the 12th pick, which I know you haven't decided on, we've always talked about, is it looking towards pairings or looking towards form? Do you have an idea what you're looking at for 12?
A little of both. I mean, I still want someone that's had a good body of work, someone that's playing well right now, but definitely that person has to fit. We have a very good idea now with 11 players of pairings, and that player's got to fit nicely into a spot to make things work. So it's something we'll go to work on. Not that we haven't already talked about it, but something we'll go to work on even deeper and dive deeper into things this week and make sure we're very comfortable with that selection on Monday.
Jim, you're leaving for Paris with your team in just 19 days. How do you want to put a bow on the proceedings this last half hour?
I would have to say that I'm extremely happy with the 11 players we have. Got a lot of confidence in those players. I think we have some great chemistry. I think we have some great pairing opportunities. We've got some great veteran leadership, and we've got some youth. It's a well-rounded team, and we'll go to work getting set to go. I also know that I've been excited to get to this position and excited to go to France, and I also know the task at hand as well. I have a lot of respect for Thomas. I have a lot of respect for the players that have qualified for the European team, and I'm anxious to see who they pick tomorrow. And I think the one thing that sticks out, I mean, we all know they have an incredible crowd. They make a lot of noise. I love their organization. I love their songs. I love their chants. I'm looking forward to hearing that noise, and I know this group of guys is up for that challenge and excited to meet that challenge. But one of the big things we have in work coming up is the golf course. The one thing, they know this golf course extremely well. They've played the French Open there for 25 years. They love it. It's a great golf course. Massive greens, a lot of different unique pin placements. Our big work right now is getting ready for that golf course, and we'll have a very short period of time in person to do that when we're in France. And so my job is to get these guys ready, to prepare them as best I can. But those 3 days that we're there for practice rounds will be key. It'll be paramount in our success and for those opportunities. So I want to make sure that they're prepared.
Captain, thank you very much. Would like to also thank our Ryder Cup vice captains in the back row over there, Zach, Davis, and David. Thank you for being with us today. Tiger, Phil, Bryson, congratulations on making the 2018 United States Ryder Cup team. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.